part of our dear state. I actually want to begin by acknowledging the Paw Nation, because this is their ancestral land we're standing on. Some Paw people may be in our state. Many are in Northeast Oklahoma, to which their families were forcibly relocated. Others are elsewhere. All of them share our Arkansas heritage and gave us the gift of our state name. Like you all, I have been angered, disappointed, heartbroken, saddened, and sadly not surprised by recent events in public health, our economy, and the relentless, unjustified, racially based violence against Black men and Black women. We cannot simply sit on our emotions and let them fester. We have to address the root causes. But how? We are here, and that's good, that's a start, but that's not nearly enough. I could tell you to shop at Black-owned businesses as a way of addressing the widening racial wealth gap. There's a list of Black-owned businesses going around Facebook, or you can Google Black-owned businesses in Little Rock. I did that last night and found a list of more than 150 businesses. I encourage you to do that same. Shop at those businesses, patronize those enterprises. I could tell you to complete the census. How many people have already completed the census? Excellent. I want to thank our daughter for completing ours in our household. If you've not completed the census, do so. Visit my2020census.gov and complete it. Each Arkansan counted means more than $25,000 come into our state. That's good, that's important, it's critical, but it's not enough. And since we care about how that money is used and who gets to make the decisions about that money, it's important that we register to vote. Who's registered to vote? We've already heard that there's people passing around voter registration forms over there. There's some over there on Ernest Green's bench. Someone's raising their hand with voter registration forms over here. If you're not registered to vote, register. If you want to take some forms with you, take them, carry around with you so you can encourage others to register to vote. Doing so is critical. It is important that we exercise our right and our responsibility to vote. But in the fight for racial justice, it's not enough. Just this week, the Arkansas Secretary of State made it clear that our current pandemic is a valid reason to vote absentee. If you're a resident of Pulaski County, you can see Terry Hollingsworth, our Pulaski County clerk, and get your absentee ballot. It is important to vote. Once you register, it's important to vote. That is critical. It is our right. It is our responsibility. But in the fight for racial justice, it is not enough. What do we need to do? What I really want to tell you is, what I really want to encourage all of us, myself included, to do is to stay the course. It has been so heartening to see so many people say and even shout that the murders of Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, and so many, really too many more, were wrong. It is so very good to see African Americans, European Americans, Native Americans, Asian Americans, Latinx Americans, and others say and truly understand that Black lives matter. It makes me glad, and it makes me even a bit hopeful. But what happens after this moment? Will we stay the course? It's one thing to be out here on a pretty day, it's actually not even that hot, but will we stay the course when the fight for racial justice gets uncomfortable? When we have to ask, like our esteemed heckler did earlier, when we have to look at our history and ensure that it's written not just by the people who are the, quote, winners, when we have to look at our heroes and look at the sum total of their work, the sum total of their lives, and make decisions based on that versus based on the things we want to pick and choose from. Will we stay the course when the fight for racial justice gets personal? When someone calls us out on our bias, and we know in our hearts that we're right, they're right. When we risk losing a friend or losing a relationship because we have to have a difficult conversation or because we have to hold someone accountable. Will we stay the course when the fight for racial justice gets hard? When we have to choose between something that is easy and comfortable and familiar versus something that is hard but is in fact right? Will we choose, will we do the right thing? Will we stay the course when the fight for racial justice gets complicated? When we have to recognize the intersection between racial justice and feminism? When we have to recognize the intersection between racial justice and disability rights and gay rights? when we say that Black Lives Matter, we intentionally include the lives of Black trans women like Rhea Milton in Ohio and Dominique Fells in Pennsylvania, who were killed less than 2 weeks ago, and many others whose names are not being circulated and we don't know. Will we stay the course? I certainly hope so, because racial justice and racial equity benefits everyone. This is not charity. This is for all of us. We're all better off in a more just and a more equitable society. So I encourage you today, stay the course, go the distance, press on until we get there. And when we get there, we'll get there together. Thank you.